Did you notice that the bus license plate hides the exact date when Toy Story 1 was released, or that the garbage truck with Lotso appears again? Toy Story 5 is so full of references that the Pizza Planet truck appears twice. So today, we're going to go over 120 secrets, connections, and details that you probably didn't notice the first time. Counting all the Buzz Lightyears at the start gives you 50. Buzz appears alone in front of the sea, trapped on an island and waiting for a signal to get him out of there. This is a direct reference to the movie Cast Away, and the reference has a second layer. The main character in Cast Away is Tom Hanks, and Woody was also originally voiced by Tom Hanks.
Wait a minute. You don't think I meant to knock Buzz out the window, do you, Potato?
Even though they are modern versions, the 50 Buzzes still believe that Star Command exists. It's the same programming error as Buzz from 1995 when he arrived in Andy's room thinking he was actually a space ranger. The bright star that the Buzzes mistake for Star Command has the shape and glow of the classic Disney wishing star. When the Buzzes leave the island, the camera pans up to the sky and the clouds serve as a transition to Bonnie's world. It's the same white on blue pattern that has defined Toy Story since 1995. And this pattern doesn't just appear in the sky, it's also in the drawings in Bonnie's room and on her clothes. In one scene, you can still read Bonnie on Trixie's feet, the same detail that appeared in Toy Story That Time Forgot. Bonnie's father is wearing a t-shirt with the Grand Basin logo, the place where the carnival from Toy Story 4 was, a reference to Woody's return. The Andersons' car has a TS5 model badge. It might seem like a normal car name, but it actually means Toy Story 5. The camera pans down to the tree where Emily used to play with Jessie when she was a child. 30 years after hearing how she was abandoned, Jessie physically returns to the same place where the happiest and saddest part of her life began. The silhouette, the roots, and the shape of the branches are very similar to the central tree in A Bug's Life, and the tree also reminds us of the new life on Earth in Wall-E. On Jessie's pants, 1200 Range Road is embroidered. The number refers to Pixar's headquarters at 1200 Park Avenue in Emeryville. Kenna Harris revealed that there was a scene where Emily, now elderly, found Jessie again and introduced her to her grandson. Sadly, it was removed because the story changed, but with this, they tell us that their reunion is indeed possible within the Toy Story universe. The melody of When She Loved Me from Toy Story 2 reappears in an instrumental form around Jessie. Andrew Stanton and Ken Harris said that Jessie was not going to be the main protagonist, but the story about loneliness, screens, and the fear of becoming obsolete fit very well with her backstory. There was discussion of an early Toy Story 5 version without Woody to see if the series could continue without him. When they finished this version, they realized it was impossible, so they rewrote everything again. When Woody reappears, he's wearing a poncho, which reminds us of Clint Eastwood's Man with No Name, just like a cowboy who has spent years traveling the world. The worn-out spot on Woody's head didn't just appear out of nowhere, it's the same place the restorer cleaned and repainted in Toy Story 2 before Woody was about to be sold to the museum in Tokyo. So yes, Woody has had that bald spot for more than 20 years. In fact, in the credits, Bo Peep uses a marker to paint over Woody's worn-out spot so her man doesn't look so old. The team designed Bonnie and Blaze's fantasies with different styles to show us that not everyone sees the world the same way, but when it comes to connecting emotionally, we can be on the same wavelength. After eating the poisoned cake, Rex turns blue with purple spots, exactly the same combination as Sully in Monsters, Inc. Captain Sus, the little party boat from Saurus Rex, reappears among Bonnie's toys. In the same yard, a repainted robot appears that uses the Transitron model, the character from Toy Story of Terror. They changed its colors to hide it, but they kept almost the entire body. The company that takes Lilypad to the house is called Ship It. The name had already appeared in Toy Story of Terror, and Ship It doesn't exist only on a box label. Later on, you can see one of their stores in the background. Lilliput and other devices carry the Eggman Tech brand. The name seems new until you remember that Eggman already existed since the first movie. In Toy Story 1, Eggman Movers was the company that moved Andy's things. 3 decades later, the same brand seems to have become, or expanded into, a tech company. Even the minor companies adapted to technology. And in fact, Eggman was the nickname of Ralph Eggleston, the production designer of the first Toy Story and one of the most important figures at Pixar. The Japanese poster puts Woody at the front, while the American company highlights Jessie. When Lily Pad arrives, she takes Bonnie's bed, while the toys end up down below. It's the same composition as Toy Story 1. Buzz arrives with the shiny new thing, and Woody is pushed to the floor. When Lilliput appears, Trixie says she wants one. I want one. The joke connects to Toy Story 3, where we had already seen her fascinated using Bonnie's computer. Lilypad and her portal The Pond are inspired by the Leapfrog children's tablets. Even the frog theme comes from there. Pixar didn't invent a random device. They made their own version of a technology that already existed in millions of homes. And Ribbit doesn't just work as another frog-themed wordplay. The name, the posts, and the navigation imitate Reddit. Another visible site is called Infopedia, and it mirrors Wikipedia. The black command windows that appear on the devices are taken directly from Apple's macOS terminal application, a direct reference to Steve Jobs, since if it weren't for him, Toy Story wouldn't have existed. Among the applications is Star Adventurer, the same name as the carnival booth where Ducky and Bonnie were prizes in Toy Story 4. While Jessie is browsing, a space image taken from WALL-E appears. It's not just a similar galaxy. When you compare the position of the stars, they match exactly. Below, you can see the ocean where Marlene meets Ducky. Lilypad refers to Woody as Buffalo Bill,
Join the garage, Stuffalo Bill.
confusing the toy cowboy with a figure from the Old West. In the English version, Jessie shouts, which is a direct reference to Looney Tunes.
Von Jehoshaphat, the kid has hit the jackpot.
Among the apps, Pigeon Piazza appears. Its icon shows Saviero Piccionini, one of the pigeons from Gatto, Pixar's upcoming movie set in Venice. The effects supervisor confirmed that there is a second reference to Gatto hidden in Blaze's room, but it wasn't revealed what it is. If you manage to find it, leave it in the comments. Outside Blaze's house, you can see Red, the unicycle protagonist of Red's Dream, the 1987 Pixar short film. On Blaze's board, there's a poster of the Wilderness Explorers, the organization that Russell belongs to in Up. Chelsea's avatar is a beaver that looks a lot like the ones from Hoppers. Kara's avatar is a small round blue bird that reminds us of the flock from For the Birds. Wraith's avatar is a ladybug similar to Francis from A Bug's Life. When Lilypad looks for Jessie on an auction site called eBid, it's a parody of the eBay store. And the worst part is that it says Jessie is worthless. The photo in the ad was not created for Toy Story 5. It's the same image of Jessie that had already appeared in Toy Story of Terror. The tablet digs up an old black and white recording of Woody's Roundup that appeared in Toy Story 2. One of the apps is called Chicken Farmer. The icon combines a chicken and a barn, which not only reminds us of smartphone apps and games, but also reminds us of Al's toy barn and Al himself, the Chicken Man from Toy Story 2. Among the images on Snappy, there are photos taken at Disneyland. This creates a very strange connection. A park where Toy Story exists as a movie appears within the universe where its characters are real toys? Lilypad sends Snappy a photograph of the Dinoco gas station, the classic gas station that appears in several Pixar movies, but is best known from Cars. Mr. Pricklepants appears dressed as a priest because he had already played one during Toy Story of Terror. Combat Carl returns after becoming one of the best characters in Toy Story of Terror. But did you know that his original design was completely different due to licensing issues? Among the abandoned toys, a recolored version of Doug also appears, the ragdoll shaped like a zebra that decorated Second Chance Antiques in Toy Story 4. Next to Doug, you can see the pink wind-up bunny from the same antique store. After the death of Carl Weathers, Ernie Hudson took over the voice of Combat Carl. The strange thing is that Hudson said he didn't even know he was inheriting Weathers' character when he accepted the job. He found out much later.
When I got the job, I didn't realize that I was stepping in for Carl Weathers.
The pizza with glasses is played by Bad Bunny in both English and Spanish.
Telling us all her secrets.
Telling us all his secrets. Delicious.
And actually, in the early plans for Toy Story 1, the food stop was going to be called Pizza Putt, not Pizza Planet. Obviously, Pizza Putt was a reference to Pizza Hut. And the claw machines were going to have prizes of rubber pizzas with glasses. So Toy Story 5 brought back that discarded pizza from the 1995 sketches. Smarty Pants is a device to teach kids how to use the bathroom, but did you notice that its body is designed like a hanging roll of toilet paper? In fact, Smarty Pants' yellow handle is shaped like Conan O'Brien's hair, his original voice actor. During one of the fantasies, Bullseye misspells Andy's name on his hooves again, just like at the end of Toy Story 2. Toy Story 5 lets us hear Jesse's pull-string phrases for the first time. Keep in mind that Jessie has been in the saga since 1999, but we had never actually heard what her voice box says. The batteries that bring old devices back to life are PowerCell, the same brand used in the communication equipment in Toy Story 1 to find out which new toys were arriving. Plastic hands don't properly activate Lilypad's touchscreen, so to control it, they end up using Lizard Sammy's sticky foot. In fact, this lizard is called Sammy number 2. The number implies that Bonnie already had one before, between Toy Story 4 and Toy Story 5. The credits show Sammy number 3 referencing that when Buzz and Woody lost him, Bonnie couldn't find him again and got a third Sammy. Atlas was created to tell kids how to get anywhere, but he spent years trapped inside a drawer. The toy that knew all the routes in the world couldn't find a way out for himself. When Atlas shows a location, his avatar recreates the yellow ball with the red star from Luxo Jr. Before Toy Story 5 hit theaters, Atlas had already appeared hidden in Hoppers. Smarty Pants, Atlas, and Snappy were designed as products from different eras. They changed their screens, movements, speed, and materials so you can feel the technological evolution without anyone having to tell you what year they're from. The graphics that appear on each device weren't just pasted on as a flat image. The team animated them separately and developed a flow similar to drawing with a virtual pencil so that each device would have its own way of moving. Ken Harris confirmed that a Tamagotchi was included in an earlier version of the story, but Pixar didn't remove it because the character was bad, but because they couldn't finalize the licensing agreement with Bandai in time. The art team had to build a house that looked like it had existed since Emily's childhood. The worn paint, the furniture, and the surfaces are not just random dirt. Blaze's long curly hair was so complicated that Pixar developed new, super advanced tools to animate it. That's why, if you compare her hair to any other hair Pixar has ever created, you'll notice they're very different. So that Daffodil's horse could move with the correct weight and musculature, Pixar created a completely new digital skeleton. They couldn't just recycle Bullseye's body, since it would look like a giant toy horse and not a real one. Blaze's laptop has a bee, which is a reference to the adventures of Andre and Wally B. The team experimented with artificial intelligence tools during production, but concluded that it still didn't reach the quality needed to create the final scenes. But AI was used to speed up artists' tasks, not to replace animation. Woody's return is shown from behind and very low, starting with his boots. The shot reminds us of Andy's big Final Fantasy sequence in Toy Story 3. When Buzz greets Woody, his laser ends up on him just like during their first meeting in 1995. Woody distracts Buzz again by pointing at something behind him. It's the same joke he made in the first movie. The difference is that now he doesn't take advantage of it to throw him out the window. When Woody and Buzz start arguing again, Mr. Potato Head comments that it's good to see them fighting again. That's because that's how their friendship started in the first movie. Ham suggests hiding behind Bonnie's dresser and makes it clear that he was the one who moved it.
I want to stay behind the dresser for a few years.
It's the same kind of joke as in Toy Story 3 when he also claimed Barbie's Corvette for himself.
I want the Corvette.
Both of them run toward the back of Anderson's car, recreating the run when they tried to catch up with Andy's moving truck in the first movie. Buzz's tech squad identifies Woody as a Zurg agent. This is a reference to Toy Story 2 where Buzz also mistook anything for a piece of his imaginary space war. The browser used by Buzz's army at the camp copies the look of Google Chrome, with tabs, address bar, and buttons in the same places. To convince the other versions of himself, Buzz says,
"Search your feelings." Everyone knows it's true.
It's the line where Darth Vader reveals to Luke that he's his father.
Search your feelings. You know it's true.
And the joke doesn't end there. Buzz claims that Zurg is the father of all of them, and all 50 of them react in horror, collectively repeating the most famous family trauma from Star Wars. When the Buzzes go through the forest, a deer, rabbits, and a soft choir appear, a clear reference to Bambi. The squirrel that appears in the forest reuses the model from Dog Days. The bluebirds were reused from Turning Red. And the deer was also reused in this case from Hoppers. During that moment, you can hear a variation of Love is a Song, the opening theme from Bambi. When the humans appear, an unexpected piece of music starts playing, which announced the hunters in Bambi. One of the buzzes slowly comes out of the water with only his eyes visible, just like Captain Willard in Apocalypse Now. Among the books, you can see The Velveteen Rabbit, the story of a toy that wants to become real thanks to the love of a child. The evil version of Bullseye does have a voice, something the original horse never got in the saga. They did this because they wanted to break one of the most iconic rules of the saga. Lilypad ends up in a Tri-Country Charities truck, the same organization related to Jesse's donation. During the chase, orange cones appear that are almost identical to the ones the toys used to cross the street in Toy Story 2. I wonder what toys are hiding down there. The Dinoco gas station appears again. The yellow Pizza Planet truck passes in front of Jesse, Bullseye, and Buzz's army, forcing them to stop. But further ahead, another Pizza Planet truck appears, parked at a Dinoco gas station and a Pizza Planet restaurant. The rescue sequence brings together Jesse, Woody, and Bullseye, vehicles, horses, and the 50 buzzes. The team coordinated more than 100 individual characters and described it as one of the most difficult scenes in the entire production. The Luxo Bowl appears on the buttons of the crane control panel. The buses have a code on their backs, but it wasn't created for you to scan it with your phone at the theater. Lilypad reads it within the story, and with that, she unlocks drone mode for the entire troop. When the buzzes take off, one of them says that this is real flying, and Woody finishes with style. In 1995, they were falling with style.
This is what I call flying with style.
I'm not flying, I'm falling with style.
Shortly before the kiss between Jesse and Buzz, the garbage truck from Toy Story 3 where Lotso got trapped passes by. When Blaze delivers the toys, her nails are painted in various colors. Some fans believe that each shade corresponds to a different era of Taylor Swift, who sings the final theme. On the tree, the message "Jesse was here" appears, along with a metal box buried. Emily had kept childhood memories in the same place where she used to play with the doll she later abandoned. Inside the capsule, the photograph reveals that Emily named her daughter Jessie. On the back, it doesn't just say A113, the full code reads TSA113, combining the initials of Toy Story with Pixar's most famous number. The capsule contains a pin with a yellow sphere, very similar to a core memory from Inside Out. Jessie ends up using it, physically carrying a memory of Emily during the final chase. After watching a cut of Toy Story 5, Taylor Swift wrote the song "I Knew It, I Knew You," and that same afternoon she was already recording the vocals. So yes, the end credits song was finished in just 8 hours. The final drawings show us RC again, who has been almost absent since Toy Story 4. Also, the toys end up performing the song that Lilypad created by turning Jesse's words into a rap. On the school bus, you can read the license plate TS112295. TS stands for Toy Story, and 112295 refers to November 22, 1995, the date when the first movie was released. In the credits scene, the 50 buzzes land in a schoolyard, and each one finds a child. Even the teacher ends up with one. Then Zurg appears inside a backpack, voiced by Andrew Stanton, the director, and once again greets Buzz as his son. The movie ends exactly where its crisis began. 50 lost toys finding someone to belong to. And these were the 120 fun facts we found about Toy Story 5. Did you find any others? Let us know in the comments.